What if the greatest victories in tennis aren't measured by trophies or rankings, but by the quiet, unseen choices a family makes when no one is watching? Alex Eala has given fans plenty of unforgettable moments on court, stunning upsets against Grand Slam champions, breakthrough rankings, and electric performances that have electrified Philippine sports. Yet the part of her journey that truly defines her remains largely untold. It's not the highlight reels or the cheering crowds. It's the story of a 13-year-old girl who left behind everything familiar and a family that quietly surrendered pieces of their own lives so she could chase a dream most would consider impossible. This is the emotional core that most fans rarely pause to consider, the human cost hidden beneath every professional triumph. This story matters because it reveals the real price of excellence in a sport that glorifies results while often overlooking the personal toll. People are talking about it now as Eala continues her ascent because it challenges the simplified narrative of overnight success. What surprising truth will you discover? That behind the composed athlete who battles on the biggest stages stands a foundation built on profound family sacrifice, early separation, and unwavering belief that no amount of money or privilege could ever fully replace. Over the following account, we'll trace her path from humble beginnings to global stages, exploring the depth of what it truly took to get there. Let's travel back to the very start, long before any rankings or rivalries existed. Before the world knew the name Alex Eala, there was a small girl on a makeshift court in Pasig City, Philippines, swinging a racket that seemed far too large for her tiny hands. She was just 4 years old. The surface wasn't even a dedicated tennis court. It was a multi-purpose area with basketball lines still painted across it and hoops looming above the baselines. In a country where basketball reigns as the dominant passion, proper tennis facilities were scarce. Her first coach wasn't a renowned professional. It was her grandfather, whom she affectionately called Lolo Bob. Every day after school, young Alex would head to that court alongside her older brother. Lolo Bob would be there waiting, ready for sessions that often stretched 2 to 4 hours. This wasn't forced training or a rigid structure. It was pure love for the game. For an entire decade, this backyard-style routine formed the bedrock of her development. No elite academies, no sports science teams, no corporate sponsors, just a grandfather who recognized something special in his granddaughter, and a family committed to nurturing that spark. Looking back today, it's tempting to romanticize those early years as idyllic preparation for greatness. At the time, though, there were no guarantees. No one could predict where those daily sessions might lead. There was only a determined little girl who showed up consistently, driven by joy rather than expectation. Her mother, Riza, brought a unique perspective to this journey. As a former competitive swimmer who had stood on podiums at regional games, she understood the immense discipline and trade-offs athletics demand. She knew firsthand what it meant to sacrifice sleep, social experiences, and a conventional childhood for the slim chance at something remarkable. Her father, Mike, came from a business background rather than sports, but he grasped an equally vital truth. If his daughter possessed genuine talent, the family's role was to create and protect the environment where it could flourish. Without fanfare or public attention, the Eala family began reorganizing their daily lives, priorities, and routines around this 4-year-old with a racket in her hands. No one could have foreseen how dramatically that commitment would reshape their world. In 2018, at age 12, Alex captured an under-14 championship title in France. That single achievement suddenly placed her on an international radar she hadn't even known existed. Soon after, an invitation arrived from the prestigious Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. For many families, this would represent an unequivocal dream, an elite training environment with world-class coaching and a clear pathway toward professional success. For the Ealas, however, it presented a profound dilemma rather than simple excitement. Accepting the offer meant sending their young daughter thousands of miles away, across oceans and cultures, at a time when she still needed her family's daily presence. The academy wanted her to start in September, giving the family just months to decide whether they were prepared to upend their entire existence for her potential. This was the moment of truth that rarely receives the attention it deserves in sports stories. When documentaries discuss sacrifice, they often focus on financial strain, physical injuries, or rigorous training hours. The Eala family's sacrifice cut deeper. It involved separation, distance, and a child stepping into independence during the most formative years of her life. Alex herself has reflected that leaving home at 13 was never part of any long-term family blueprint. It emerged suddenly as an unexpected opportunity. One day she was balancing school and local tennis in the Philippines like any other kid. The next, she faced the prospect of trading her entire support network for a dorm room in a foreign country. After careful consideration, her parents made the difficult choice to say yes. But their support didn't end with that decision. Her brother Miko accompanied her, providing a vital piece of home in an unfamiliar place. Meanwhile, her parents completely restructured their careers, schedules, and personal lives to enable regular visits, ongoing guidance, and emotional closeness despite the vast distance. Picture the reality for a moment. A 13-year-old girl thousands of miles from her beloved Lolo Bob and the familiar basketball-lined court where her love for tennis first bloomed. She had to master a new language, adapt to a different culture, navigate homesickness, and compete against talented peers from around the globe, all while trying to maintain her development on the court. This wasn't a minor adjustment. It was an enormous emotional burden placed on someone so young. That experience forged the maturity and composure fans now admire when they watch her face top-ranked opponents years later. The poise didn't appear overnight. It was earned through forced early independence and the quiet strength required to thrive far from home. Her father has openly discussed how atypical this path was, having a child so deeply immersed in professional-level sports at such a tender age. He and his wife focused on providing as much normalcy as possible within an otherwise extraordinary situation. It was a careful balancing act, offering enough guidance to prevent burnout while granting her the space to grow into her own person. The family avoided extremes, choosing consistent presence through visits, calls, and unwavering parental roles even from afar. Of course, such profound sacrifices rarely come without broader consequences. As Alex's profile rose on the WTA Tour, with wild cards, notable victories over Grand Slam champions, and passionate crowds waving Filipino flags at tournaments, new challenges emerged. The family that had supported her through quiet years suddenly faced public scrutiny. Online narratives began questioning her background, pointing to her mother's corporate experience, her father's business success, and the financial ability to afford the Nadal Academy. Some critics labeled her a Nepo baby, implying that privilege and connections explained her progress more than personal effort or family dedication. These accusations cut deeply for a family that had invested over a decade in reshaping their lives around her dream. Yes, they possessed resources that made the Spain opportunity feasible. But resources alone cannot account for junior Grand Slam success, hard-fought wins against elite professionals, or a 13-year-old's resilience in adapting to a new continent, language, and competitive environment while managing unspoken homesickness. Defenders rightly argue that money might open doors, but it cannot execute a perfect return, endure the psychological pressure of representing a nation, or sustain the daily grind required at the highest levels. Eala's on-court performances stand as the strongest counter to such simplifications. Still, the contrast must have felt jarring. After sacrificing normal family life, proximity, and everyday routines for years, seeing their journey reduced to dismissive labels online added another layer of difficulty. This pattern reflects a wider issue in sports. The unseen years of struggle get condensed into glamorous montages, then judged by those unfamiliar with the full story. When critics claim an athlete's path was easy, they often overlook the private heartaches, logistical nightmares, and emotional trade-offs that built the foundation. Alex Eala has always spoken with deep gratitude about her family's role. She credits her parents not merely as supporters of her tennis career, but as integral shapers of her entire identity as both an athlete and a person. She has highlighted her grandfather Lolo Bob's foundational influence, the man who first placed a racket in her hands and guided her for 10 formative years before any academies or professionals entered the picture. This family-driven origin story reframes her success. It was cultivated organically at home long before institutional support arrived. When asked what advice she would give her younger self, Eala didn't dwell on technical adjustments or training methods. Instead, she emphasized trust in her family and a willingness to embrace the journey exactly as it unfolded, challenges and all. That perspective from someone who left home at 13 carries powerful resonance. Many in similar situations might regret the pain of separation. Eala views it as essential to who she has become. Her father has echoed this outlook, noting that the term sacrifice feels almost inadequate because the family discovered so much purpose and fulfillment in their commitment, choosing presence and support over convenience time and again. This mindset reveals the heart of their story. It wasn't a reluctant burden, but a series of deliberate, collective choices made out of love and belief in her potential. The narrative isn't one of a family purchasing success through wealth. It's one of ordinary people repeatedly prioritizing a shared dream over personal comfort. So, what lasting lessons emerge from Alex Eala's experiences? We remember the image of a 4-year-old learning the fundamentals on a repurposed basketball court under her grandfather's patient guidance because dedicated resources weren't readily available. We see a 13-year-old bravely boarding a plane to Spain, stepping into uncertainty with limited language skills and leaving her parents behind for a future with no promises. We recognize a family that fundamentally altered careers, daily rhythms, and emotional landscapes, not out of obligation, but from deep conviction in what their daughter might achieve. We also confront the uncomfortable reality that, despite these efforts, segments of the public still attempt to distill her accomplishments to privilege alone, overlooking the years of homesickness, relentless discipline, cultural adaptation, and emotional resilience that no financial advantage could manufacture. Athletic journeys often appear seamless from afar, polished montages of wins, celebrations, and interviews. In truth, real sacrifice looks far less dramatic in the moment. A father adjusting his professional path, a mother mastering airport goodbyes, a grandfather pouring knowledge into a grandchild on an improvised court, hoping it might one day lead somewhere meaningful. Alex Eala's path transcends tennis. It illustrates what a family will willingly forego for a dream that offered no guarantees of success. In the end, that legacy of love, commitment, and quiet strength may prove as impactful as any title or ranking she earns on the court. It challenges us to look deeper when celebrating athletes, to ask about the unseen stories, the family decisions made in private, and the personal costs that built the public triumphs. How many other competitors carry similar untold chapters beneath their statistics. Stories of separation, familial restructuring, and profound belief that the spotlight rarely illuminates. By exploring these narratives, we gain a fuller appreciation for the humanity behind the scores. This is the kind of story that reminds us why sports matter, not just for the entertainment, but for the lessons in perseverance, family bonds, and the courage to pursue the improbable. Alex Eala continues writing her chapter, but the foundation laid by her loved ones ensures it rests on something far more enduring than any single match result. If you enjoyed this story and want more in-depth updates like this, subscribe to Stateside Tennis, turn on the notification bell, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.